Good morning. It is November 19th. It's actually the 5th year anniversary of the day Alex and I met up for the first time in like 3 years. Basically, the dinner that we reconnected over, which eventually turned into our love story, and we started dating shortly after that dinner. And yeah, it's one of my favorite days to celebrate, and if anyone knows me, they know I look for any excuse to celebrate. So yeah, November 19th is a special day, and it's in my calendar to remind me every year. But the dinner we reconnected over was sushi. And so we try to have the tradition of getting sushi every year on this day specifically. Anyways, let me get to the point because my camera is literally about to die. I just wanted to capture this quick update because I'm finally starting to edit. So it's November, and I'm editing all my videos. I think the first one is from like April. So I'm finally slowly making my way through editing all the footage I've had for the past however many months that is. And I just edited episode 2. So if you've been following along, then you'll understand this update. But if you haven't watched episode 2, maybe go back and watch that because this might give you some context. But long story short, before literally my camera dies, like I said, it's November, and I am just now getting our reimbursement check from my HSG exam. Long story short, I tried scheduling it in April, then there was like some miscommunication and like I couldn't go through with the test. So then I ended up actually going in May, and come to find out, because we kind of went through that little bump in the road and were able to reschedule it, that actually gave us time to like talk to different people about scheduling the appointment and exactly what is the cost of that exam. And apparently they like misquoted us the first time around, because when they scheduled us the first time, we like literally almost went through the whole appointment. I like paid for it and everything, already got called back to like the x-ray room, only to find out we had to reschedule. And so they just kept our payment, obviously, because I was gonna be back the next month. And when I went back to the hospital to check in, you know, for my rescheduled appointment, that's when they told us like, oh, you like overpaid. And I'm like, what? And it ended up being like $500 cheaper. So that's the silver lining that made that little bump in the road worth it. Because, oh my gosh, it was only like $1,000 versus $1,500, which is a big difference, especially in the fertility world when you're literally just paying for everything out here. Yeah, I just thought that was pretty cool, especially because I literally just finished editing episode 2 where I talk about like the disappointment of having to reschedule my HSG exam. And so if I had to go through all that just to get $500 back, that's great. So I'm like, okay, God, even through all that, you're doing a little something. So it's the little victories, and you gotta hold on to anything in this journey. So yeah, very excited about that. I cannot believe we're about to do this again. Okay, it is 8:04 a.m. on, oh, sorry, I literally just woke up 10 minutes ago. November 25th. It's a Monday. Thanksgiving is this week. And technically my fertility doctor recommended that I wait until day 16 to take a pregnancy test. But today is day 14. Not because I'm like antsy and anxious and all the things, because God really has given me a spirit of patience. I mean, it's been like over 2 years that we've been down this road, so like kind of gotten used to just waiting. But my parents are coming into town tonight and they're staying for the whole week of Thanksgiving. And so the idea of like waking up early and taking a test in the morning while they're literally in the other room, and like we have plans, and having to like allow myself time to process the news either way with Alex, like that just kind of overwhelmed me. So you know what? I made the executive decision. And I went to Walmart yesterday and bought a pregnancy test. I bought one of those like early detection ones just in case, but I feel like 14 days is still a regular amount of waiting. I don't know. You guys know I haven't taken very many pregnancy tests at all, so I'm still getting used to how all of this even works. And like, Alex thinks I'm still waiting until Wednesday to take my test. We're back in that situation of like, a lot of my friends and family are invested and they know this is the week I should be finding out. So I'm like, but I'm just not gonna put that pressure on myself. Like, I'm gonna tell them the news on my time when it feels right, regardless of the outcome. And at least it's Thanksgiving week. Like, I have a lot to look forward to. It's gonna be a fun week, even if I'm not pregnant. And so last night when I went to bed, I was like excited to wake up this morning and just have the clarity, start the week out with just knowing what's ahead, and also just thankful that I have some time to myself right now. Alex just left for work like 30 minutes ago. And so I'll at least have today to process whatever these results are. And then I woke up like an hour before my alarm this morning because now I'm just like antsy. But then also the past like 10 minutes, I've been just like avoiding taking this test, and I kind of woke up feeling like, do I have to do this? Like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? I don't want to take a pregnancy test because I don't feel any different. Not even a crazy little symptom here and there, like nothing. Nothing is sore, nothing feels crampy, none of that. I was telling myself like, as much energy I'm giving into these like more, I wouldn't say they're negative thoughts because I truly think they're just realistic ones. I mean, can you blame me? It's just what I'm used to. Like, as much as I'm entertaining those thoughts, like, I want to like balance out my emotions and try to feed some of these more positive, hopeful thinking thoughts of like, well, this could be my time. And like, yeah, maybe I just don't feel anything until a few weeks from now. And like, maybe this is the time God ordained and it could all work and the journey could be over. And but those thoughts are harder for me to think and like harder for me to feel, because then I just feel my guard going down, and I don't want that. It's just a tricky season, okay? I can't explain it. It's filled with so many things that I've never experienced, so many emotions that I didn't know I was capable of. And I'm not like trying to compare myself to other women when they go through this, but I do feel like more often than not, people experience some like early signs of pregnancy. However, I did try to Google it last night, and I've been trying to stay off of Google during all of this because there's so many women out there and everyone's body is different. Even if there are statistics and facts and stuff, I'm like, there's still that anomaly. There's still women out there that you'll find that are like, I didn't know I was pregnant until 20 weeks along. Like, so I try to stay away from asking my questions on Google. But last night I just had a moment of weakness and I literally Googled like percentage of women who don't know they're pregnant till later on, or like percentage of women who don't experience early pregnancy signs. And I don't know, according to the internet, there's many women who don't really experience any symptoms until like week 5 or week 6. And I don't know. And last night I was thinking about it, like, I'm really, really thankful that God really did lay it on my heart, you know, when we started this whole thing 2.5 years ago, that I'm gonna challenge myself to just wait for my period each month and avoid just the whole taking pregnancy tests in general, so that I can be more in tune with my body and so that I can kind of guard my heart in that way. I was trying to do the math last night and I'm like, I would have taken at least at a minimum, I think, 24 pregnancy tests in the past 2 years. Like, oh my gosh, that is a lot. So that would have been a lot of money and a lot of emotions and just a lot of disappointment because obviously I haven't been pregnant. But I know some women, that is their strategy and that is their approach. They want to find out, they want to know, they take the early tests every month, and I get that, and I can't even imagine like the disappointment that brings if you're struggling with infertility and just getting negative after negative. Like, I feel like that's just a whole separate emotional journey, but this is my journey and this is where we are right now. Oh my gosh. This is literally just taking me back to when we were in Colombia. Like, literally taking me back. And that was 3 months ago. Oh my gosh. And it's like, I was explaining to my friend Rachel over the weekend that like this cycle, this time around, I've noticed I've been like slightly more sensitive to baby things. Like my sister-in-law had a little baby sprinkle for her baby number 2 over the weekend. So I went to Orlando to celebrate, and there was a little bit of sensitivity there, but overall was able to celebrate with her and have joy for her in that season. And then I found out one of these like random influencers that I follow, she's pregnant and she got pregnant on her first try. And I'm just like, that's incredible, and that's a miracle also, and that's amazing, good for her. But also I can't wrap my mind around how that would feel. Like, literally you tried and it worked the first time and now you're like pregnant. That's a crazy emotional journey, I'm sure. But yeah, so I've just been a little more sensitive to those things. Even one of my friends came up to me at church the other weekend and like put her hands on my belly and she's like, is there a baby in there? And I'm like, just like so many emotions hit me right at once in that moment. And I know obviously she didn't mean anything by it. Like, it was funny. And like, I'm wondering the same thing too. But it was like the emotion of like, oh my gosh, like one day hopefully there will be, and like people will actually be able to touch my belly and say those things. But then the other emotion of like, oh my gosh, like this is embarrassing, like it's literally probably empty in there. And then just like, oh my gosh, the emotion of like other people are looking and what are other people thinking, and do other people know I'm struggling? Like, people see this like smiley bubbly girl on the outside and what do they think is going on the inside? Like, it's just funny, all these little things, all these little things. But yeah, I've definitely noticed more my thoughts, more my feelings are just leaning towards it's gonna be a negative test, the IUI didn't work again. And I think a lot of those thoughts are, yeah, coming from me just being guarded and also being down this road for a long time. Like, it's just kind of muscle memory at this point. And if you just look back at the history of the past 2 years, 2.5 years, even 1 year, like the pattern is that I get my period every month, that I'm not pregnant. So like, why would this time be any different? So my thoughts and my heart, my feelings, they're already just leaning in that direction because that's just what I'm used to. So it could be like a defense mechanism, but also just like my body being like, yeah, this is normal, nothing's changed. But I also have noticed that I've found myself asking just a little bit more questions to God. Like, still never doubted him, still have never lost my faith. It's only gotten stronger, which praise the Lord, because it's hard. It's hard to continuously stay hopeful and to stay positive and to trust God when things are just not going your way. But I've had some questions like, okay, God, really though? Like, let's be real. Let's have a come to Jesus moment, literally. Why isn't it working? What are you waiting on? What do you see that I don't see? And like, it does give me some weird peace knowing that like, at least he holds the answer. Like, he sees the end. He literally like can see my children and their names and who they are running around, growing up. Like, he can see what my family looks like 10 years from now. So I'm holding on to that, like at least somebody knows what's going on, because clearly what I'm doing isn't working, and clearly I'm not in control, because I would have had 2 babies by now, like literally. So I just, I'm just like, okay, God, I've been crying out to you, I've been leaning on you, I've been talking to you through this whole journey. All I'm asking for is a response, like something. And I know no response is still a response. Like God just wants me to wait on him most of this time. And he's encouraged me and comforted me in many, many ways through, you know, his word, through his people. So I have experienced his response in a way, but I'm just like, okay, God, this is your daughter. Like literally just like falling in your arms, like just desperate, just wanting something to latch onto, something to encourage me. And like I said, he's done that, but I'm just like, okay, this is a two-way street. Like you are my father, you are my creator. Just give me like an audible response. Just do something. And of course the sermon yesterday was all about just like being thankful, and like being thankful in the circumstance, not waiting until after, whether you hear from God or not. Like God is still good. We know his character. He's not going to change. So we can thank him for who he is. We can thank him for what he's doing, because there will come a time when I can look back on this very video, on this whole journey, and see his hand in all of it. But it's just nuts. It is nuts. I'm like, okay, at some point, right? I get to my breaking point. I'm like, okay, God, seriously, like the joke's over. When will it be my turn? And I know I'm rambling because I'm avoiding taking this test, and I really just need to get it over with, because any type of clarity is better than nothing. Okay, let me just get off the test, right? That's why we're here. My video is already at like 19 minutes, so this is great. This is great. Okay, so I bought one of these clear blue early detection tests, and I do have to pee, so this is good timing. I haven't peed yet, because apparently the first pee is the best pee. I think it comes with both, like the digital and the lines. I want to take the line one first, because, you know, I just feel like that's a less heartbreaking one to see. I'm sure some of you are literally watching this being like, oh, this could be it, this could be it. Why are you like doubting yourself, and you just don't know, and why are you saying all these things? And then watch, I'm gonna be right. And then you're gonna understand. And like I said, you won't get it unless you're in it, okay? Just, it is what it is. Gosh, this is so weird to be doing this again. But I'll be thankful to have the clarity, honestly. I know I will, so I have to take this. I just have to do it. Okay. Oh no, that's a digital one. We're gonna save that one, even though we might not need it. Just imagine though, if this is the moment. My brain literally, it can't go there. Like, there's like stop signs going off in my head. Like, why are you thinking like that? Let's just do this. All right, here we go. Okay, you have to wait 5 minutes. Okay, here. I'm getting nervous. Okay, here is the test before. There's gonna be a line if it's pregnant, no line if no preggers. And there's gonna be a control line right here to kind of match it, I guess. So part of me is like, let me just soak in this moment where I'm still like waiting. Because right now I'm not like full sad or full excited, because I still don't know. And once I find these results, it's like, then that unlocks whatever emotion's gonna come with it. Then I'm actually gonna feel it. I'm not just gonna think about it any longer. Like, it's gonna become my reality. It's gonna be what I communicate to Alex, to everyone. It's gonna affect how I proceed in this journey. It's gonna affect if we do another treatment and when we do it. Gosh, does anyone else think this way? Please comment down below. Please let me know if you can relate to any of this, because I don't really have any of my personal friends or family going through this season right now, or can relate to infertility. So in that way, it does sometimes feel lonely. My camera cut off right in time. All right. 1, 2. Okay, 5 minutes The timer has started. Even Alex had the idea of like, why don't we take the test together this time? And then Alex can look at it first and then he can tell me the results. Because if you think about it, technically the past 2 years that we've been doing this, I've had to be the bearer of bad news for so long. And I'm like, that's actually a good idea. But maybe we save that for like baby number 2. Because after all this time, I'm still holding on to my moment of like, I want to tell Alex myself. I want to surprise him. Now we wait. And I'm gonna pray. First things first, I gotta pray. Oh, Jesus. My gosh. First of all, just thank you. Thank you that Alex and I are even in this position that we can try and that we have able bodies to try, and that you've provided the health and the finances to tackle this journey and to seek the appointments and get the tests and be connected with the right doctors who are going to guide us down this road. God, thank you for lining all of that up, and thank you for providing that. And just whatever these results are, God, you already know. You hold my future, and you're a good father, so my future must be good. I just want your will, and if this journey is longer and now is not my time, Lord, just give me the peace to accept it. And I trust you. I trust you, and just protect my emotions for whatever the outcome is, God. And I love you, and I just thank you for loving me through this and being here with me through this, comforting me, strengthening me, and allowing me to still have hope after all this time. Lord, that strength only comes from you. And so continue to strengthen me regardless of what happens. Lord, let me keep you number one, keep you as the focus, and just trust that you're going to use all this for your glory. And just bless anyone who's watching this video, my future kids, my friends, my family, strangers, or maybe nobody. God, let them see you and only you through it. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Now that I've started to like edit all these videos, one of the first videos, well, actually I think it is the first video I posted. And in that video, I talk about my first kind of like feeling of disappointment when we started all of this, and really what kind of jump started me just wanting to dive right in to trying and really see what this adventure was all about. And it was literally like this time 2 years ago. Thanksgiving of 22, and it's funny because now this is Thanksgiving week of 2024. Okay, there's my timer, and we're just not gonna make a big deal about it because I've already dragged this on. God is here with me. It's gonna be okay. It's as blank could be. There's not even a hint. There's not anything. Okay, another Thanksgiving where I'm disappointed. No, it's okay. I've come a long way since that Thanksgiving 2 years ago. I knew I wasn't pregnant. See? Told you guys. Told you guys. I'm gonna put this one in here because I have been keeping track. Well, I only have one other pregnancy test, which I actually need to find where that is. And I should probably write the date on this, right? Don't people like do that? Okay, I'll be back. I'm gonna get a marker. I'm such a perfectionist. Even on the pregnancy test, I'm trying to make my numbers look good. All right. I'm glad I took it now, because if my parents were literally waiting on me in the living room to like go hang out and like Alex is here, like what would I have done? I've been talking for like 30 minutes. I wouldn't have had this luxury to process out loud and take my time, and it's just like, what really is God's plan? Like, why not me? Like, why not now? Like, when is he gonna determine that enough is enough? You know, like, I've been nothing but like honest and vulnerable on this channel, and that was the whole goal of all of this. Like, I told myself if I was gonna document all this and post it, like I didn't have to post any of these. I could have just kept this for myself and my future kids, but I wanted to include whoever is watching in this, because I think God wants to do multiple things and I don't want to stand in his way. And so I told myself, if I'm actually going to go through with this, like, I have to be real. I have to be raw. Like, that's the only way that I can capture the genuineness of this journey and like really communicate to anyone out there what I actually went through and what it looked like. I know I can't capture everything. The more the time passes, the more I'm getting more open to like, okay, well, how am I gonna be a mom? Because like growing up, you just think so one-track minded, of course. Like, yeah, I'm gonna make a baby with my husband, I'm gonna have my own biological kids, and like I'm gonna be a mom. Like, that's just how you do it. But thankfully we live in a world where like you can become a mom in many, many ways, whether it's through fertility treatments or adoption or fostering, or honestly, even just like you can be the attributes of a mom to your friends, to your family. Like, you can be that nurturer, you can be that caring, listening ear, like you can be all those things. And so I just know that God has destined me to be one. I'm just unsure of how that's gonna happen. And I know there's gonna come a time when like this season, this journey ends, because like, one, there's a time clock. Like, I can't be in my 70s like trying to have a baby. Like, so at some point this is gonna stop, and then like, you know, I'm gonna go through another journey. Like, this is gonna be a closed book. And just mark my words, there will come a day, which is so crazy for me to think, like, I'm gonna be holding a baby, like, and then I'm gonna remember all these moments, and I know it's all gonna be worth it, but then it's also gonna be like, time just flew. Like, how did we get here? Like, take me back to those moments when it was just me and Alex and we traveled the world and like we could sleep in and eat what we want, and like, I just know that day it's coming. I just don't know how soon. This has honestly been a form of like therapy. So if you're struggling with this or going through it, like, don't go through it alone. Like, maybe you pick up the camera, pick up your phone, start recording yourself. I don't know. Not that you have to post the videos, but also post them. Like, why not? It's helped. It's helped me process out loud, even though I've talked off Alex's ear enough, and my mom and my small group girlies and my friends. Like, who knows if people actually want to hear all this stuff, even if they say they do. And who really wants to be around that girl who's always bringing up her struggle, but like, this is a type of struggle that I've never dealt with before, and it's still so foreign because I'm still experiencing new emotions and thoughts that come with it, depending on the month. Just knowing I can have a safe place to just word vomit. You guys aren't gonna judge me. I could talk for however long I want. Doesn't mean you guys are gonna see all of this footage, but it's just nice for me to at least have some outlet where I can get it out and not worry. And my camera cut off for the second time, so that really is my sign to go. Thanks for watching. Until next time. I have my clarity now. It's gonna be a good day because I'm alive, I'm healthy, I have a God who loves me, a husband who loves me, a supportive family, I have a roof over my head. You gotta give yourself a pep talk sometimes. Although I was getting excited about the possibility of twins, and my mind was kind of like, oh, this is what I've waited for. This is why God has brought me to this moment, because we're gonna go from having none to two. I'll be the one in the family to have twins and have that adventure. Okay, none of those thoughts, they're all pointless because they're not true. And it's gonna be fine. I still feel fine, by the way, even though it's only been a couple minutes. You know, it always just hits me later anyways. This is the reality hitting me. It's almost 2 p.m. now, and I just got to work. Allowing myself to embrace feelings like this is scary because you don't know how long it's gonna take for your body to like process and like, oh, what's the word? Go through it and let it out. But then it's like, you can't always just sit in it and feel it completely because like life is still going on. So like, I have a lot to do. to just get the church all ready for Christmas. My parents are coming, and it's a holiday week, so I can't just put everything else on hold because I want to like sit and listen to worship music and just like cry. But sometimes you just can't help it, and this is just like the name of the game. And I'm literally like driving here to work, and I'm just like bawling my eyes out, and I'm just like wondering, like, are people looking at me? And also just like seeing other cars pass me, and I'm like, yeah, their life is going on too. Like, I know reality is that everyone is struggling with something, and here I am just zoomed in on my own situation, and this is literally just life, like, because we live in a broken world. And so I know Jesus never intended for me to feel this kind of pain, and so I'm like, well, you could easily just take it away. And he's taken it away in many, many ways, but obviously it doesn't compare to like getting that positive pregnancy test or whatever. So I'm just like, do I just put on a smile and go into work because my boss is in today? When you let these feelings out, like, I don't know what's gonna come from deep within. Like, I don't know what my thoughts are gonna be this time. I don't know how long this like sadness and confusion is gonna last this time, because it's literally been different every single month. And so before I drove here, I had texted my small group, and I texted some close friends and family who like know I'm going through this and who are my support system, just to let them know, just to get that out of the way. But of course I'll have to tell Alex and my parents when I see them. It's crazy, like, being that person who has to relay the message to everyone. Like, just always hits different, and I'm just really sad this time. I'm sad because like there's thoughts flooding my mind of like, how much longer? Like, it's so hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel, even though I know it exists. So like my brain doesn't fully let me like go into like depression mode or like negative Nancy, because like literally my foundation, my life was built on the cross. Like, my life was built on the hope of Jesus, and like I will die on that hill, and nothing can take that away. And I believe that to my core. So like, as much as I have these doubtful thoughts or negative thoughts, like, my mind and my heart stops me from completely going over that edge, because like I just can't, like, it's just not in my DNA. Like, I know better, and I know God's timing is perfect, and everything will work out how it's supposed to. And he is a loving father. Like, he doesn't want me to go through this either, but there must be something greater that he's trying to do in my life, in Alex's life, before we can like receive that ultimate gift of having our own child. So I don't know. It's hard for me to picture, like, how many kids am I gonna have, and how am I gonna have them, and when am I gonna have them? I'm just like, where do I go? God, what do you want me to do? Like, I feel like I just can't hear him right now. Like, what? And it feels lonely, because like, as much as I would want to just pick up the phone and call someone and like have this conversation with them and bawl my eyes out and sit in silence or get uncomfortable or vent or ugly cry or shout or scream or whatever, like, okay, at some point it has to end. Like, at some point you have to pick the pieces up and keep walking, because like I said, life goes on, and like other people have their own struggles too that they need to deal with and move on from as well. Like, and as much as like people can say like, I'm here for you, call me, I want to be there for you, which I so appreciate, it's like the depth and the intensity of it, like, it just feels lonely. And I know God will give me the strength if I literally have to go through this for another 2 years, but I just don't want to think like that. It seems so far away. I texted my fertility clinic. They told me to stop taking my progesterone, so there you go. And I'm just wondering if like Alex and I should just skip to IVF instead of doing like one more round of IUI to like really give it a shot. That just seems like a lot. 3 IUIs, I don't know. Like, what are my odds? I mean, it's failed twice, right? So I don't know. And then I was like crying earlier because I'm like, the dollar signs. Like, I think the medications the progesterone and like the ovulation shot, the overdrill, like I think that alone was like $400 combined or something, like per cycle. And obviously I've done 2. And then you gotta pay for like the ultrasound that comes with each appointment, and I think ultrasounds are like $375 or something. And then on top of that, the IUI, with everything combined, like, I don't know. And then you really just can't put a price tag on all the waiting and all the letdowns. Anyways, I actually have to go to work. Like, I just can't sit here all day, but I think I look normal now. I think my boss will be able to notice. Okay, I'm gonna go.